call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Pod at the Palace after party following Primetime at the Palace. I'm so glad I don't have to say any of that anymore. I'm Curtis Wilkerson, joined by Andrew Ellis, and we just got back from Bud Walton Arena, got our first glimpse at the Hoop Hogs out there, and we want to talk about it. And more importantly, for those who weren't there, or if you had to watch the Pinto stream or whatever, and you have a bunch of questions or you want to know what went down, fire away your comments and everything. This is about what we expected it to be, which was cool. It was a lot of fun to see, and we got a few takeaways and some things that we want to talk about. For the most part, it was an entertainment event. It was for the families. It was for the kids, and not a whole lot of serious, getting after it, crazy type of basketball, but a really fun night, I thought, nonetheless.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some people that roll their eyes when I say this, Curtis, because today was a lot more about vibes and just kind of feeling and just, getting the personality of some of these guys. It was a lot more about that than it was actual hoops. So if you're tuning in here really expecting to hear firm hoop breakdowns, that's not necessarily what this was about, although there was a little bit to take from this. But people don't know this. They may not be familiar with our work, Curtis. We are vibes experts. When we're on location, when we're going to practices, when we're going to whatever, we always are keeping an eye on the body language, an eye on the vibes, getting a feel for the personalities. And I think there was a lot to see here, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with these guys tonight. It was a good atmosphere, a good situation there at Bud Walton Arena. I thought it was well done for the most part.
Yeah, I thought so too, man. It was cool. It was a good time. I think just like Cal said, this was something that they can build on for the future. But I was impressed with the turnout. I mean, I got to be honest, it wasn't a packed house. Obviously, I don't think anybody expected it to be, but there was more people in there for this event tonight than there were some of those November home games last year. I mean, it was a cool atmosphere. I thought it was well done. Yeah, we got to get introduced to the women's basketball team, and they did the little half-court shots for the students and everything, which one dude almost made it. He almost made it, which was pretty cool. But the basketball itself, before we talk about that, I want to get your feel for just the atmosphere, the player intros, and some of the reactions there, which I found very, very interesting. And then some of what John Calipari said, because Cal was talking his shit up there. That dude is super confident in his team, and he's not one that's just going to gas up the fans, even if it's an event like this. He had multiple opportunities in front of a microphone last year where he was like, folks, be patient. All right. You're going to see things in November that freak you out. We'll figure it out by January and February. Turns out that was right, but he's not doing any of that this time. In fact, one of the first things he said was this team has a chance to be special, and we'll see if he's right or not, but he's certainly confident in them.
Yeah, John Calipari is certainly not one to run away from the spotlight. He likes kind of being in these big spectacles. In fact, when he was talking, he was like, it's hard for me to stop. I'm going to stop. He's like, I'll stop talking so we can get to the stuff, but it's hard for me to stop. And we talk about him liking to put his team on this big stage and getting them ready for these big moments. It's one of our favorite traits about John Calipari. They literally had a stage set up, Curtis. They had one of the goals down. We were worried when we first got in there. We were like, are they only playing half court? Because they had one of the goals halfway down, had a literal stage with a video board and everything. It looked like we were about to see a concert to put these guys on a platform, literally, give them that star treatment, roll out the red carpet. He wants his players to feel that way. He wants to coach guys who view themselves as the top dog. He wants to coach guys who view themselves as superstars. And by the way, there's some specific Razorbacks on this team that one of my big takeaways tonight is they feel in their hearts they are superstars. Will they be on the court or not? They feel it. And I think that's what was cool to me tonight is just to see one, Cal, of course, we know he likes to embrace this kind of thing, the glitz and the glamour that I know some people roll their eyes at, but for these kids, maybe it's not the end of the world, but they certainly seem to have a lot of fun. They like to be under the spotlight. They like to have some fun. And I think they like to, get that love from the crowd. And it was cool to see that. You mentioned the reactions. The player reactions were very good. I thought, by the way, the setup of the crowd, they had the entire upper deck. They were not letting people up there, which cool. We don't need anybody in the nosebleeds for this. And then, of course, the behind the stage, like you normally would be at a concert, behind the stage they had blocked off. So every Razorback fan that was in the building was in a compact
like a horseshoe area. Yeah.
And I thought that helped the atmosphere. It felt more like an intimate, we're all in this together type of thing. I think the team fed off of that. They loved being there in front of that. They loved, how many times today did we see guys hype up the crowd, and they really love that. And I thought during the dunk contest, 3-point, the player introductions from the start to the finish, like you could just tell the thing that jumped out is the players really loved this. And at the end of the day, whether we can feel how we want to feel about the dances or the spectacle, It's all about what they feel, and they looked like they had a good time tonight, and that's really all that matters. I've been to far worse of these kind of events, far worse.
That is an absolute fact, man. A few takeaways from the player intros. I know people think it's silly, but you want to see how the fans react to him. We'll talk basketball in just a second. Billy Richmond got a roar, bro. When they say he's a fan favorite, he is a fan favorite. You said it. I tweeted it out. He got a bigger pop than John Calipari did. Like, people,
not an exaggeration.
Some Billy Richmond, man. So that was pretty cool to see. He was loving it. I thought Isaiah Sealy, hometown hero, got a big pop there from the crowd. Most of the returners did. Everybody got a nice ovation. But one of the funniest things was, just a huge roar for Carter Knox too, and he almost ate it walking up there onto the stage. I mean, it just almost tripped right there on stage. That's something you can't overcome. So I was happy that he was able to keep his footing there. But it was pretty cool. Okay, let's get into. Let's talk about the most important thing, and then we'll talk about some a couple actual, I think, takeaways that we have. We need to just quickly, I think, rejudge this dunk contest. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement? And then you can tell me what you think in the chat. Andrew, do we think that it was between the three of Billy Richmond, Nick Pringle, and then Trevin Brazile?
I agree with that being the top three.
Yes.
I'm good with that being the top three. I'm trying to think of who else you could make a case for.
I thought Carter's dunk
was good. Carter
Yeah.
had a good dunk. I mean, honestly, it was a solid dunk contest. They were solid offerings. We got to shout out Corey Beck. I don't think he gave anything under a 10. Like, literally from the jump to the end, I do not think he gave out anything other than 10, which is fine. I think so the scoring may have been wonky, but I do think they had the right top three. What was the order they announced?
It was Trevin 1. Then was it Pringle and Billy, or Billy and Pringle? But they gave Trevin the win, and listen. Okay, let's just show the dunks, and we'll let the people decide.
We'll show that. Yeah, I was saying, it doesn't matter what they said.
Let's do that. Yeah, we need to see it.
Let's
It doesn't matter what they said. Exactly. Okay, this first one, I'm gonna pull up Nick Pringle. I don't have him labeled, so I hope I get this right. I believe that this is Nick Pringle. I mean,
give us a replay on that. Go back and
replay
nasty.
Yeah, we're gonna get a replay here. Yeah. I mean, that's 360 windmill. That looks pretty good. Sort of the same type of dunk that Billy Richmond tried to do. His was just like, you said it, I think, best. Billy got in the air, and it was like he was midair, and then he decided what he was going to do. It wound up being a crazy dunk. But that was Nick Pringle.
Basketball players love doing the nonchalant thing where they're like, oh, I'm just kind of dribbling. And then I do something super explosive. That was Billy's whole thing. I thought both these guys did a great job. It was a similar dunk. Billy came at it from a different angle, and of course, we're about to see Billy's. But I thought Pringle, man, we said on the show, if a 6'6" guy and a 6'10" guy do the same dunk, the 6'6" guys is going to look cooler. Now, these are not the exact same dunk. The motion's a little bit different, but I thought Pringle looked good. I mean, you couldn't tell he's 6'10", 6'11". Like, that's a large human being. He moved pretty smooth, man. Made it look really easy.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, here's Billy Richmond's for the people. His body, man. Like, it's just the way he contorted it there is crazy.
Look how nonchalant he is as he's walking up here.
Right. Just casual, and then he explodes. It's a hell of a dunk. The team loved it.
Yeah, I thought that was the best dunk of the day in terms of just everything. It just looked cool. He was nonchalant about it. He made it easily, like it did. There was no doubt about it. That was his one and only attempt. There were a lot of guys that I think Isaiah Sealy needed 3 attempts to start. I think DJ Wagner needed a couple attempts, which is fine. And we can grade whatever you do. Yeah. For Billy to just one step, and everyone was going crazy. Right before this, Coach Z, who did a great job on the mic, was like getting everyone to chant his name. He's like, hey, y'all know who's next? Who is the hardest playing player in America? And everyone just started chanting, Billy, Billy. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. And it was interesting because Trevin, at first, he wasn't going to do it. Like, he wasn't going to be involved in it. I don't remember if Cal said, the coaching staff didn't want him to do it or whatever. And then it was like they were getting ready to wrap it up, and TB was like, the hell with it. He grabbed the ball, and he put Elmer Zappich under the rim, which I remember saying at Goat Lab Red earlier. Are they going to really let somebody jump over the 7-footers? But you're worried about him getting hurt. Cal runs out there like he was going to stop him. This very well may have been scripted, by the way. But Cal runs out there. And he's like, no. They're like, no, coach, I got it. We're good. And then they did it. And here's the thing. I want to play this. I want people to keep in mind. You look at this and it looks effortless. And I think it's because it's a 7-footer jumping over a 7-footer. But like it's still very impressive to me what Trevin was able to do here. It just, I can't get over what Billy Richmond did. I think Billy's going to be my winner, but let me play it anyway. They really slow-mode this, didn't they? There we go. And you know what?
You couldn't see from that angle. His legs didn't touch at all. Like his legs did not touch. He did do the little kind of push down, and Elmire did duck his head a little bit.
Yeah, he ducked his head just a little bit there for sure.
But there wasn't a ton of contact there. He actually did clear him.
Right. Yeah, he did, which is impressive. Are we in agreement to Billy won? We're going to give it to Billy?
I would say Billy won, and it's for the same logic that I had earlier. I thought him and Pringle had the two best dunks. Trevin, this was a good dunk. This is a very solid dunk. Yeah. He was the favorite coming in. You kind of knew. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the bag. You know, I don't. It's impressive dunking over someone. We said that coming in. We're like, we're not really crazy about the dunking over someone. By the way, no disrespect. We're not here to knock guys. But is it fair to say Malik Ewan, we're a little disappointed that he chooses to jump over a teammate? He chose Amir Brown, 5'9", Amir Brown, my size Amir Brown, and he's 6'10", 240. Yeah. He jumps over him. And Malik Ewan was dunking in warm-ups, and he looked impressive. I was like, dude, and you said to me, you're like, Malik Ewan might win this thing. And then
he's super bouncy.
Like, dang.
Yeah, I think that they might have been a little bit confused about the format because the way Coach Z explained it was like, oh, yeah, a couple guys will just do one dunk, but some of them are going to do multiples. I thought it was going to be like at the three-point contest where you get through the first round. It's like, okay, here are our two finalists or whatever. So I was thinking, all right, maybe Ewan is trying to save one. Like you try to save your best for last or something. Yeah. Because, he was doing some crazy stuff in the warm-ups to where I was thinking, all right, this he's legit bouncy. He might actually have a chance here. But, yeah, when you jump over the 5'9" guy and then your teammate jumps over the 7-footer, what are you supposed to say? You know,
that's a tough one. You mentioned saving one. I thought that's what Trevin was also doing, where I'm like, okay, that's a good dunk to get you into the qualifying round, but then like show us your 360 windmill. By the way, we don't have Carter's dunk, do we?
No,
and it didn't deserve. I'm not arguing that it got snubbed, but I thought it was a very solid offering that kind of got us going, and I wanted to give it its credit.
It was the total package, like just a soft touch off the side of the glass by DJ there. Okay. And good flush by Carter. It was good. It was pretty good. I was happy with it.
And Carter, by the way, didn't catch it clean, but still was able to windmill. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that, we've had some good dunkers at Arkansas, Thero, Ricky Council, but these dudes make these dunks look really easy.
Yeah, they do. 3-point contest real quick. If I had a takeaway from this, I'm not going to lie. I feel a little bit better about Arkansas's 3-point shooting. Listen, the scrimmage was pointless. It was exactly what we were afraid it might be and what we said it might be, which is very NBA All-Star game-ish. Very low effort on defense. It was designed to give fans and kids something to be excited about. If somebody's driving a lane, clear the way. Don't foul them. Don't challenge them. Let's get some dunks. Let's get some lobs. There were some scripted moments in there I could tell where there would be a long outlet. It was designed for somebody to get a steal, so you could get a transition alley-oop or something on the other end. It was a lot of that, but you're seeing the guys play. You're seeing who can, catch lobs or whatever, but you're also seeing guys who can knock down shots. But Arkansas's got a sniper in Malik Thomas, man, and it's a interesting mechanics that he has there. But in the 3-point competition, from the corners and the top of the key, dude barely missed. He struggled a little bit from the left wing both times in both rounds. He won, by the way. In the final, he got 20, and he never finished the whole damn thing. He had one rack to give in both times there. But, yeah, corners, top of the key, I thought Malik Thomas was nasty. He knocked down a couple threes in a little scrimmage. He did the heat check where he's bringing the ball up the floor, pulled up from about 25 and drilled one. He's going to make a lot of threes for Arkansas. Darius Acuff is going to make a lot of threes for Arkansas. If there's one thing that I would walk away from and actually take away from this, it's that Darius Acuff can shoot it, and that makes me happy.
I wasn't counting all of them. I kind of lost count because I'm, a little bit stupid. I thought when I watched it live, and by the way, the format of this, there were 4 total shooters. They would do one on each end of the court, 2 rounds of it. And it was Malik Thomas and Jaden Carlette to start. They end up doing a rematch in the second round. I thought Acuff got snubbed. I thought he won his round, and I thought he had more than Jaden Carlewa, because I think Jaden had like 15 or 16 in the first round. I thought that's what Acuff had as well, and he beat the guy that he was matched up with. I thought it should have been Thomas versus Acuff in the final. I was stunned when Jaden Carlewa came back out. But you're right. Darius Acuff looked great. I thought he got snubbed. Malik Thomas was the MVP of this whole event. And I'm not – if you are currently a guy who, like, doesn't think Malik Thomas is very good, I'm not saying you should, like, now think he's very good based on this performance. But, like, if you're a Malik Thomas guy and a lot of the things that you like about him, you know, the shot making, the confidence, just the way that he carries himself, the mentality, I thought all that really did show up. And, again, this is not a serious thing here. And obviously guys can come in and mail it in, especially on the defensive end. I really appreciated that he, like, took this seriously and was like, let me show up and ball out here. You said it from the jump when we were watching him warm up. You were like, dude, Malik Thomas is locked in. Like, he's treating this like
to play a game, bro.
Right now.
Yeah, he really did. There's just some intensity and competitive fire with him. I love him, man. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. He'll be streaky. You know, he'll have his ups and downs, but when he gets on a heater, he's fun to watch. And we saw it at the practice we were able to go to over the summer. Like, he got hot, and there was a stretch there for about 5 minutes of real time where I was like, holy shit, like, this dude's he's a lottery pick. This is crazy. And then Cal mentioned at the presser the other day that he recently had a practice where he was just knocking down every shot. He's going to have some of that. So that was good to see. Happy with Darius Acuff. You know, that's going to be really important. If he can shoot it, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but he was in a 33 to 35% even range. That's going to go a long way for this Arkansas team. And who else? Oh, Trevin hit a three. Malik Ewan hit a three, the only one that he took there. They're going to let the big fellas shoot the three, man. Like, Malik Ewan is going to have that green light, and it looked good in there. So I'm all for it. And like, if you're wondering, okay, well, is this team going to have enough? Are they going to shoot at a better percentage? We hope so, but are they going to have any volume? Well, the way that you can get it is if guys like Malik Ewan are able to take some threes and make them, and if Darius Acuff is better than you thought there. So there's some reasons to believe. And hell, I thought it was a pointless scrimmage or whatever, but Isaiah Sealy, once again, to me, he looked like he belonged out there on the floor. I have zero issue at all if Arkansas has a 9-man rotation and Sealy's your 9th man and he plays regularly. I think he's good for it.
Yeah, I think he's very athletic, man. I mean, he size wise, obviously he's pretty skinny. Like, he'll bulk up and he'll get bigger and stronger throughout his career, but like, he doesn't look like a guy that would look out of place in an SEC basketball game. Like, he looks like an SEC basketball player, has the bounce. He didn't have a great showing in the dunk contest. Couldn't quite get those high variance things, but like, you could see the bounce. He was cutting backdoor and getting a lot of easy looks, which again, in this setting, very easy to get a backdoor dunk. But I think he's the type of guy that can kind of will his way into this rotation if he has that type of mentality and mindset. He's athletic. I would have liked to see him stroke it a little bit, like see kind of maybe what that would have looked like. I wish they would have let like everybody participate in the 3-point contest. We would have been there for 20 more minutes. But like, I mean, Trevin, we were kind of disappointed. We thought Trevin might have a chance to win both contests.
Yeah.
He didn't participate, although Trevin would not have come. We mentioned Malik Thomas never finished his full thing because he was just kind of taking his time. Trevin would not have made it through 3 racks on the 3-point contest.
For sure. Yeah, you're 100% right on that. I'm going to throw this out here real quick, and then we can get to the comments and see what everybody's got going on here. And appreciate everybody for. I mean, it's 10 o'clock on a Friday night after whatever this was, and you guys are here, so I think that's really cool. But at Goat Lab earlier, we were just kind of doing some predictions or whatever, and one of the questions that I asked you guys was who was the most likely to get posterized on this team, because you knew it was going to happen with somebody. And I said it would be Big Elmer. As a little slow-footed, he's going to be hanging out under the rim. No, it was Big Elmer that did the posterizing. He dunked on TB in the scrimmage.
Right when he got in, too. I'm talking about first possession, which, by the way, we haven't really talked. You may have noticed, if you're listening at home, we have not talked much about the scrimmage action.
Yeah, dude.
It was 8 minutes of pickup ball is what it was, and it was lighthearted pickup ball. In fact, if you were playing pickup, they would ask you to play better defense than they were playing.
Yes.
So, like, this thing could happen. They, like, finally there was only one whistle. In the 8 minutes they played, there was one whistle where a ball went out of bounds off of a shot. I think it was Malik Thomas had a ball that hit the rim and then went over. And when they finally had that, they sent Elmer in, and right off the bat, gets to TV, man. That was awesome.
Hanged on him, man. Yeah, Elmer Haiti had a couple buckets in there, He's not very athletic. Or he doesn't move that well laterally. You know what I mean?
Fair,
and so it is what it is. But again, like, if you look at the way the roster shakes out here, he's probably what, your 11th man or something. So whatever. Hey, you know what he is? He's a body you didn't have last year when it was GAs in practice every single day. But yeah, good on him for going in there and banging on somebody. He got a nice little ovation. It was good to see him too, because there's a language barrier there, and he gets introduced and he's out there and he's pumping up the crowd. I'm like, I like this guy. Okay, I like him. We are Team Elmer over here at Inside Arkansas, no doubt about it.
Big old donkey, man. He's a big dude.
He is big. Okay, let's get into the chats here. We got a few super chats, which is crazy to me, and thank you guys for doing that. It's very, very cool on this Friday night. We'll hop into those and we'll get into some other things, but overall, this was a vibe check kind of situation here, and my vibes are high coming out of there. Sharkensaw says important takeaways. Who we did meet, very cool, coming out to see us at Goat Lab. That place was popping, by the way, and I'm pissed because we were there for a couple hours, and it was a lot of word of mouth, and it's like some people came out there to see us and hang out, and that was very cool. But a lot of people came out there for the 25-cent wings. We didn't get any. we were busy. We talked, and then we got to Bud Walton Arena, and we were sitting there, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm hungry, man. How do we not get any of these wings? It's crazy.
Which, by the way, and I was going to touch on this because I saw David asked how many wings we were consuming pregame. A lot, but none were by us. Shout out to everybody, and I'm serious when I say this.
Yes.
Go Lab was popping tonight. That was awesome, and there were
sold
some
out.
people. It was weird. It was like people that were there for us that we knew. Then there were some people who I think just heard about that something was going on at Go Lab and were there, and maybe were vaguely familiar with us. But it was packed. The line was out the door, and they ran out of wings.
Yes.
Y'all cleaned out the Go Lab, man. We enjoyed some brews, man. It was a really good time. It was awesome to see how many people were out there tonight, and it's a cool spot. It's way cooler than I even expected, honestly. It's
very cool. Yeah, the owner, Bill, really, he got a kick out of it and really enjoyed everything that was going on there. We'll be back. We'll be back out there for that. We need to make that our watch party destination for road games and stuff. Like that was
built. It was built in a lab, a Goat Lab, one could argue. It was built in a lab. If you just asked AI to create you a watch party place for Arkansas sports, I mean, there's just memorabilia everywhere, decorations. There's a lot of good sports bars in the state, but not many of them are Arkansas themed, Razorback themed. There's Razorback stuff everywhere, man.
Yeah, that place was absolutely awesome. To your comment, by the way, Arkansas, great to meet you. He says important takeaways: Leak is a stud. Sealy's effort will give him playing time. Amir's the GOAT. Billy got hosed, and this team will be a problem. I agree with all these things. I've been high on Malik Thomas, and so it warms my heart to see him showing well, in front of the crowd. I can't wait to see what he looks like. By the way, at this pro day on Sunday, and it's going to be at 4:00 Central. This is a huge event. Did you see the email about that, Andrew?
I didn't read through the email, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
In fact, I'm going to pull it up real quick and just give you guys the cliff notes, because this is a big day. If you're looking for something to do Sunday, if you're not an NFL fan or whatever, you might want to check this out. So not only is the pro day being broadcast, so you'll be seeing the guys actually get after it in a scrimmage format and do a bunch of drills and stuff like that in front of NBA scouts, which is cool. It's this whole ass ordeal. So the schedule, it starts at the FanDuel Sports Network programming schedule on Sunday, October 5th. Starting at noon, they're doing the entire Razor's Edge documentary, the John Calipari deal.
Yeah.
And so they're doing the first 4 episodes. Then from 4 to 5:30, they're going to live stream the pro day, which Coach Z and Mike Fratello and Madison Hawk are all going to be on the call there. So it's going to be an actual broadcast situation. And then at 5:30 and 6:30, they're showing the final 2 episodes of the docuseries there. It's like a whole Arkansas day. So if you need a basketball fix, be in on that. I think it's going to be awesome, man. But yeah, I love Malik Thomas. Sealy, I really do believe that he's a guy who can help them this year. You need depth. You need more depth than you had last year. He's somebody that can provide that for you. He's good for it. But yeah, Amir Brown's the man. Billy, we agree, got hosed, and this team's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
So when they announced the dunk contest winner, there was just confusion. They read it off, and I don't think anybody heard it correctly. We may never really know who actually won. Did they tweet out a thing of who won? Because when they announced it, I thought they announced Billy as the winner. And then Haywood was no, they announced Trevin as the winner. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
I heard Z say it was Trevin.
Okay.
But it was a confusing deal. Come on,
Billy got 3rd place?
Maybe.
That's insane. Yeah, he did get hosed there.
That's ridiculous. Tamara, we appreciate the super chat. She says, thank you guys for the pregame and this postgame. It's so cool for us that couldn't be there. I think Trevin, Billy, and Pringle all did great. Yeah, It's fun to watch those guys, and thank you for thanking us. It's really cool. Earlier at Goat Lab, a lot of times when we go out on, on site somewhere or on location somewhere, we're just kind of live streaming, giving some publicity to businesses and everything like that, but we're still very heavily chat involved and everything. But this time we were like on the speaker in the restaurant, and people were listening. like all the tables were turned around and they were tapped in and they were laughing and they were engaging. And so we were like, oh man, it's like we're doing a very much a live show here. So it was a little bit different. We made sure to get to the super chats after. I saw at one point somebody was like, pay attention to the chat. Are they streaming Primetime at the Palace or not? And it's like
we had already addressed on the show like 7 times and continue.
Exactly.
We've been saying that there was never any misconception that was not on TV. There was never a misconception until 20 minutes before the event. Everyone's like, where's it at? I'm like, it's not going to be on
TV. Travis, we appreciate you for the super chat. He says, we have feasted on Pod at the Palace today. Thanks, guys. Woo Pig Sue. Yeah. We had the regular show bright and early this morning for everybody to wake up to. Had the commitment that's just gotten buried here. Like a really good player committed to Arkansas today, Abdou Toure. Go check out that instant reaction if you haven't already. Then we had Inside Arkansas Live for an hour and a half. Then we had an hour-long pregame show over at Goat Lab Red. And now we're doing this. And it's a lot going on. So appreciate everybody for tapping in, man. It's good stuff.
I was in the line for a glizzy tonight.
Oh, okay.
Not the best glizzy I've had at Bud Walton, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, well,
just sometimes you don't get a good one. But I was in line and there was a guy that recognized me and knew our show and stuff. And I was like, yeah, Curtis is around here somewhere. You were in the bathroom at this point. And he was just like, oh man, how's Curtis doing? I love his show. He's like, how's he doing with the baby? I'm like, yeah, he took off about 3 days where he scaled it back of work. And we're just, here we are. The baby's not even a month old. And Curtis is rattling off 4 Pod at the Palace episodes on a Friday.
It's crazy work. It really, I'm just going to be honest. I'll be honest here. It's late night. All right. We appreciate everybody that's in here. I cried when I left my house today. Like I got upset because it's been such a busy day, man. I feel like I haven't seen my son at all. You know what I mean? I was like, God, man, I'm getting ready to leave for like 5 hours. And I got a little teary eyed. I did. And then, so when Michelle walked in with Wesley at Goat Lab earlier, I was like, okay, vibe restored. This feels good. Yeah. That was very, very cool. So
I held Wesley. I held the boy.
You did. Yeah.
I was like, 90 seconds before he started crying? And I was like, all right, back to your mother.
It's about 60 seconds longer than me. So he's being oddly quiet right now. And I know when I get off here, like I'll get to eat and clean up a little bit. And then it's my shift. Dude's going to be on one, man. I'm in for the long haul tonight, back into deep waters. There's no doubt about it. Cannon says, great day to be a Razorback. Felt good to be back at the Palace. Love you, Andrew and Curtis. We appreciate that, man. We love you guys too. Very cool to see the amount of people that are on here right now. And it feels good, man. It's the football stuff right now. It's very, very interesting and people can't get enough of it. But for a while there, it was toxic. And then at times it can get overwhelming. And then it's like, oh, what's going on with the AD? What's going on with this coaching surge? It's just, you needed a refresher, I think, a little bit. And so this came at the perfect time. You got a bye week. You get a little basketball in your system. You get excited for what's going to be a really good team. And now here we are. And it's like every week now moving forward, we're going to have some basketball stuff to talk about. And then the season's going to be here before we know it. So it feels good, man. Let's see. We've got Hog Film Room. Says, woo pig. Thanks, y'all. Thank you. We appreciate that. If it's the Hog Film Room from Twitter, that's a good follow.
That's a big one. Yeah, the Hog Film Room. He's like the basketball guy on Twitter.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. We appreciate what you do. Let's see. We've got, okay, hold up. Did anybody see Amir Brown's dunk attempt in warm-ups? I missed this.
I did see this. He got a good little laugh out of the section there. Someone tried to lob him up. I think it might have been DJ Wagner tried to lob him up, and he just didn't even catch the ball on the way up. But he slapped the rim, which made me think, Curtis, that you could at least, like, it was a dunk attempt that clearly wasn't close, but like it almost led me to believe that I could believe that he has dunked before.
Okay, I'll accept.
And you got a good chuckle, and now maybe it was designed that way. Yeah, I got to be honest. Now that we're really talking about it, a lot of what happened tonight felt very pro wrestling.
Yes,
like it felt like, and it was in a good way. I love pro wrestling. There's a lot of things that were just orchestrated, it seemed, but they were all cool, so it worked out.
That's the best way I've ever heard one of these things described. Actually,
it was very, when Cal came out and was like standing in front of Elmir, like, no, don't come out in front of him. It very much, I was like, this is 2003 WWE Paul Bearer coming out, and he's like talking like that. It felt like that.
John Calipari, the modern day Paul Heyman. It's good stuff. Robert Hurst, he says, man, I'm so excited about this team. How did the ladies look? They didn't play.
Yeah.
It was just the guys that played, but they introduced the women's team, all the players. They got to come out there on the stage and get recognized there. Coach Music did like a 45. So it was like an Emmy speech. You know, they're really like cutting people off now. But real quick, like, hey, we're excited about the team. It's a new era. Come watch us. And then I guess they had 3 of the girls were the judges of the dunk contest.
Yeah. Including Yvette Mayberry.
That's right. Yeah. Lee Mayberry's daughter was in it. She was not the, like it's like the French judge or whatever in gymnastics or something. I think it was the Deese, I think was her last name, from Australia. Deese. She was harsh on the boys, man. Like Coach Z wouldn't even read out her scores.
Gave out sixes, multiple sixes. Yeah. I mean, hey, credit to her though. Somebody had to actually judge. Okay. I mean, I love Corey Beck. I'll never say anything bad about Corey Beck, but someone had to be the yin to his yang. I mean, he literally handed out all 10s.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, exactly.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we move on, Curtis.
Yeah.
Ronnie Brewer's failed 6-7 attempt. I know we're talking a lot of like TikTok stuff. Ronnie Brewer tried to do this thing and had these kids in the back where he handed them a 6 and a 7 and was going to do a 6-7 joke. Had it backwards. It said 76. Backwards. That's just like, come on.
76. Nobody understood what was going on there. It was a good try, good idea. Poor execution there. T Razorbacks, we appreciate you. Says summary, spent more time on player intros than scrimmaging. They did. Yeah, they absolutely did. And I kind of feel bad because I feel like I gave a little bit of misleading information. Now, we told you what it was going to be like when they were scrimmaging, which is not a lot of defense. It's not like a, competitive situation here, but it could be fun. The issue was I asked how much they were going to play, and I was told that they wanted to play the equivalent of a half. They didn't do that. Cal said that they were going to play a 10-minute quarter, and then they were going to do the half-court shots, and then they were going to mix the teams up, and they were going to play 10 more minutes. They stopped 8 minutes in, okay, to the first scrimmage, and Cal was like, all right, the guys, they've got to practice in the morning. We've got the pro day the next day. We're taking a little easy on them. So we're going to do the half-court shot, the light show now, and then we'll play a couple minutes to wrap it up. And then they didn't even do that. He was like, the light show was longer than I thought it was. I'm just going to send all the players in there to sign autographs. See you guys. So, yeah, I thought that it was going to be longer than that. It was indicated that it was going to be longer than that. But you got everything that you needed out of it if that's the way they were going to play. You know what I mean? Like, if they're not getting after it to a degree, I only need 8 minutes of that, man. I got to be honest.
100%. And Cal, by the way, did get on the microphone and he was like, hey, these guys have practice tomorrow morning. In like 12 hours, they're going to be out there like actually practicing. And then Sunday, they're playing in front of a ton of NBA scouts. And I know you could make an argument, oh, well, don't you want to give your fans a show? Forgive me if I'm going to let these children focus more on what the scouts have to say than what us nerds have to say. You know what I mean? Like, save your bullets for then. Save your bullets for tomorrow's practice. Be locked in then. So I'm okay with it. Shout out to Cal, by the way, who they did the laser show. They did 8 minutes and then did the laser show. And then he said, yeah, the laser show ran long. So I'm just going to get the boys up into the crowd. Y'all have a good night. He was like, he had a dinner reservation.
Dude, man. I was thinking about that the whole time, though, because the longer it went, the guys are just sitting there. So if they were warmed up where they're getting cool, like you're asking to pull a hamstring or something. I was like, why are they doing this? If I was to make any suggestions, if you're going to have the scrimmage that way, I would mix up the order of operation a little bit. So, you know how they did like layup lines and they did a little full court drill just to get the blood flowing. I would have gone straight into the scrimmage right after that because nobody's seen anything yet. And so like you get some threes, you get some alley-oops and everything. It's like, oh, okay, cool. This is fine. Then I would do the 3-point contest. Then I would finish with the dunk contest to like keep the crowd in it a little bit more. I think that's the tweak that I would make if I was going to do the scrimmage that way. Does that make sense? Is that smart?
No, it definitely makes sense.
Okay.
It definitely makes sense.
I think that's, I might throw that out there and they'll tell me to shut up. Carl Miller, he says, as a Kentucky fan, well, thanks for being here. He says, I'm here to say Malik Thomas is going to be the best player on Arkansas's basketball team this year. If you were right about that, Arkansas is going to be nasty. That might be bad news for Kentucky because they've got some really good players at Arkansas. I think a lot of people view Malik Thomas as like the 6-man, microwave scorer off the bench type, which that's an important role to have there. Like if he wound up being Arkansas's best player, their leading scorer or something, then, when Cal says, hey, this team has the potential to be special, it's stuff like that can kind of get you there.
I am going to hold myself accountable to not do the like overreacting thing. And I'm not saying that's what Carl's doing here. So I'm like, but I will say it's not crazy at all to suggest that Malik Thomas might be the most impactful player on this team. Like, it's not crazy at all. And I agree with your sentiment that if he is, and we know how good Carter Knox is, we know how good Trevin Brazil is, we know what Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle bring to the table. You start doing the math, plus Acuff, of course, he's going to be solid. You know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, he's like one of the 12 best freshmen in the country. Right. That would mean a very, very high ceiling if Malik Thomas is like a lotto type of guy.
Yeah, and so at the practice that we got to attend this summer, outside of Trevin, I thought that Malik Thomas was the most impressive that day, one day, right? Mm-hmm. And then, he popped a little bit in this thing, which is whatever. Now, if he goes to the pro day on Sunday and we're watching that and he's busting asses in the scrimmage and then, he's sharp in the drills and then he follows it up against Cincinnati in the exhibition and hits like 4 threes or something, has 16 points, then I'm going to be like, all right, he's the man. Okay.
He's
the last tracking thing in the right direction.
Okay. That's the last line you said there is very important.
Yeah.
This is the last glazing I'll say of Malik Thomas.
Okay.
Regardless of how good you think he is, like everyone kind of has their expectation of, he'll average, 8 a game. He'll average 12 a game. He'll lead the team in scoring off the bench or whatever. However good you think he is, I think we all need to agree his trajectory and his arrow is going just straight up. And he's just one of those guys, when you saw him in high school, he was a little bit more mature than everyone else around him. He was a little bit more confident than everyone else around him. You can just tell it's like, hey, this guy is going to play at that next level. He is going to continue progressing. He never looks out of place and he never looks like overwhelmed. Like I've never seen him on a basketball court, whether it's high school, overtime elite, McDonald's All-American, practice at Arkansas here. I've never seen him not look like one of the best players on the court. Yep. He's just one of those guys that seems to have that kind of pedigree, that like that mentality that like, regardless of how the skills work out, he has aspirations that are going to be pretty high, and we'll see how high he can go.
Just got me fired up, man. That's good stuff right there. You just got me going. All right, a couple more things, and then we'll get out of here pretty quick. Tamara, again, we really appreciate you. She says, Natty for the Hogs in 2026. She's picking it. We're going to bookmark this. We hold each other and you guys accountable for this. Man, that would be something.
When they get eliminated in the NCAA tournament, we're going to hop on here and be like, Tamara.
Thanks. Yeah. Great. Dylan's all over it, man. He says, my laptop is about to catch on fire because I've been watching the Pod at the Palace all day. Appreciate that. He is, we talk about like the chat power rankings and everything. He's emerging, Yeah. Like he was maybe like a preseason. Oh, wow. Not ranked, not even receiving votes, but he's gotten off to a hot start, rising in the polls. Now everybody knows who he is. That's kind of where I feel like Dylan's at right now. He's doing a good job.
He's like Oklahoma football, like, maybe you watch him and you're like, is this the best team in the country? Then you look at the rankings, you're like 5. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then you're like, yeah, there's not really an argument to be made for them to be lower.
Dylan's smart. Dylan does a really good job of, cause we have unique relationships with everybody in here. And what I've noticed about Dylan is he does a good job of balancing. Okay, I'm gonna take a shot at these guys. Like I'm gonna give them a little bit of shit here, and then he'll follow up with like a really not over the top. Some people overdo it, but it's like a subtle shot or a quick one, and then immediately followed by, man, Pod at the Palace is great this morning. Or, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, I love these guys or whatever. He's got the balancing act figured out here.
Game respects game, because we do the same crap. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I'm overly mean to a specific commenter, I'll follow it up with their next comment and be like, hey, this is a great point. Great point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well done. Yeah, nice job. White River Cafe, that's my neck of the woods, man, says, thanks, guys. So we're starting Acuff and Wagner, Carter and TB, then Ewan or Pringle. Yeah.
This seems to be the consensus, but
I think
I'm changing my mind a little bit. Not quite, actually.
On who?
Well, so I don't know. I do think Ewan and TB should be the front court, in my opinion. And I like coming off the bench with Pringle and Thomas.
Yeah.
But I can see cases for other things going on.
Okay. I like that you said that, because I've been thinking about this a little bit. And I was starting to lean Pringle at center, mainly because we've heard like Rothstein was like, oh, he's been the biggest surprise. And then Cal says the thing about he's just better at everything than we thought he was. He's really impressed. And Ewan has been really good too, but he missed several weeks with a shoulder injury. He's back full go now. But like when you've missed that time and the competition at your position has really been emerging, there's something there with the pecking order, but I think that their best rotation would occur if they had Ewan starting, because I think you need that offense in there. I like the idea of, okay, Malik Thomas comes off the bench. You got major scoring Pop coming off, and then Pringle comes off the bench and he adds that physicality, the toughness element and everything like that, as opposed to if you just had, you subbed in Malik Ewan and Malik Thomas, you're going to have a whole lot of offense all of a sudden. But then what does that mean for your defense? Like, I like the mixture there a little bit better if you start Ewan.
You mentioned the pecking order. I think everyone's going to have, there's room for varying opinions. Like you may have it, Ewan 1, Pringle 2, Brazil 3. Some other guy could say, I think I like Trevin the best and Pringle second. I think Ewan's, we can argue about that. I think there's going to be room, different matchups. I think all three of those guys just need to get used to playing with one another. Obviously, you're not going to play them all three together, but there's going to be games where Ewan and Brazil is the combination. There's going to be games where Brazil and Pringle are the combination. I just think there's room for all of it. Maybe not every single game, but over the course of 35, 40 games, there's going to be some matchups for all these guys. Hell, I think non-conference, I think I said it to you tonight, there's going to be some non-conference games where Pringle is just, they can just feed him down low and just dunk right on people. His physicality is going to be a problem, but there's going to be matchups where you maybe need some bigs with a little bit more side to side. You're gonna need Ewan in Brazil. There's going to be room for all of it, and I honestly don't even care to do the arguments of it because I'm it's going to play itself out. We'll feel good about it.
Yeah, they're all going to get their minutes, and that's one thing I mentioned on a pod at the Palace. I guess it was last week because there was a CBS Sports article, and it was the top battles in the country, and it was the Arkansas center position. And it's okay, well, there's a debate there as to who's going to start, but they're both going to play. They're both going to get their minutes. It's not like if Nick Pringle starts, Ewan's not going to play. Or if Ewan starts, Pringle's not going to play. No, they're both going to play a shit ton. So it's kind of it was interesting to me to see that. But yeah, I like the trio that they have there.
By the way, regardless of who it is at center, whoever's the odd man out there at the forward position, let's say it's Nick Pringle. You're looking at a bench unit with Billy Richmond, Malik Thomas, Nick Pringle. That is disgusting. And then, of course, maybe Carter mixed in there, whoever, DJ on the those are three legit pillars right there coming off the bench.
Yeah.
That's a big deal right there.
Yeah. It's going to be fun, man. Knock on wood. Continue to knock on wood. These guys stay healthy and everything, but it's there's potential there for this to be a fun group to watch. No doubt about it. Shout out to Phil, by the way, for gifting a membership here on this Friday night. Who got it?
I don't know, but I see that Dylan has been converted. He was talking in the chat earlier about should he, get back on that membership. He tried to sneak off after the members only live stream. Just thought, hey, they won't do one for a while. Let me hop off here. That's crazy.
That's wild. That's nuts, man. Yeah, there he is, Dylan. David is gifted a membership. I don't know who got it. Well, good on you guys, man. Good on you guys. We appreciate everybody for hopping in with us. Let me see if there's anything else here at the bottom, and then we'll call it a day. Eric. I was gonna say just real quick, Eric says, don't sleep on Sealy. We are not. Trust me.
The thing about Sealy, he is going to get as many minutes as he can fight for, scratch for, claw for, and I don't mean that in a negative way. We saw Billy Richmond, by the way. You remember coming into the year last year, Curtis? There were many people, not to say that people were anti-Billy, but you start doing your top 7, 8, 9. Billy was not in everybody's at all. And, of course, he became undeniable. He just continued to scratch and fight and claw and found all those minutes. Sealy, I'm not saying you have to play as hard as Billy Richmond, but it's he's the type of guy that can absolutely shake up all of this rotation talk that we're doing. Right.
Yeah, no, he absolutely can. That is kind of funny that he's the hardest playing player in the country and he's the fan favorite and everything like that. And I never even really consider him as a potential starter. It's why not? He's one of 4 guys returning from this Sweet 16 team, and he does everything you ask besides knock down threes. So, which we've heard that he's been shooting it better in practice and everything. He had 1 attempt today. Samuel Brooks says, if there's one injury to the top 8 guys, are we screwed? Thought C-Dub. Not as screwed as you were last year. I'll tell you that, man. No, because I think Isaiah Sealy is your 9th man. And so if you had a situation where he went from playing, spot minutes in games to playing, what would that 8th man play? 10, 12? You're going to be just fine with him in there. I would have preferred them not make the decision to redshirt Paolo And I don't know if he wasn't dressed today because he's redshirting or because I think I saw recently he had like an ankle brace or something on in one of those photos. So I don't know if he rolled an ankle or something. But just because you say something at one point doesn't mean it has to be that way. Like, he's still going to be practicing with the team, getting after it. So if you ran into a situation where you had like two bigs get hurt or whatever, he's still there. Like, you could have that conversation if you needed to burn it in an emergency. You just didn't even have that option last year. There was nobody. It was Cash Chavis, and it's pretty much what you had there. Hell, half those guys were hurt. Like, Melo Sanchez was hurt half the year. So you had no options at all. Now you do. And so I think that they're legit 9 deep. And, is Elmer Zaffich, is he going to be a starting center for Arkansas ever? No. But if he's your 11th man or something, at least you have a 7-foot body that's that damn big that you can throw out there in case of emergency, and you couldn't do that before. I think they're deeper this year. I wish they would have gotten like one more body or something, whatever.
The depth in the front court, yeah. The fact that they can redshirt Paolo, and like you said, like last year, that wouldn't have been an option. You see these guys tend to overcorrect. When you have a year where, oh, crap, we didn't have this. The next year when you're building that roster, you're going to overcompensate a little bit. If I can offer a take for you real quick, Curtis, I think if we were power ranking everyone on the team on who we would least like to see injured, now, obviously, we don't want to see anyone injured, but in terms of roster and how you would want it to be, I think DJ Wagner is number 1. Like, not that it would be like, not that Arkansas couldn't overcome it, but from a ball handling standpoint, that would all of a sudden put a lot of onus on the 2 freshmen and Billy Richmond. Whereas, like, that would be the question I would have. Whereas if any of these big men, like, I don't want any of them, but it's like if any of those top 3 bigs that we talked about earlier got hurt, it would just mean, okay, Zaffich is going to have to play. Okay, maybe you do have to burn that tomato red shirt down the stretch or whatever, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Whereas if DJ got hurt, I think that would be the one guy that could get hurt that I think would really ruin the floor of this team.
2 freshmen dominating the ball, just like Coach Calipari drew it up, man. That's
Kentucky fans would be all, because they would be the starting backcourt right away. People would go nuts.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a really good point. I agreed with that, actually. Trevin is one that comes to mind. I know what you're saying about the bigs. I think about it positionally. I'm like, okay, like point guard, Acuff, Wagner. You know what I mean? 2 guard, Leak and Wagner. We know that they're going to have that split there. Like Carter and Billy, and you got Ewan and Pringle. And then I'm like at the 4, Trevin and they have options, but they don't have another natural 4-man, like you could go small ball and play one of those bigger wings, like a Sealy or Carter can play the 4, or hell, Billy could, and you'd be all right. Or you can, I think defensively, Pringle could play the 4. Offensively, Ewan could play the 4, but there's not another 4. And so he might be my answer. But I think to your point on DJ, that veteran in the backcourt, like nobody's played more ball in the SEC the last 2 years than DJ Wagner. And so if you take that out of the equation, then all of a sudden all the retention and the experience and, everything that has people pretty high on Arkansas, a lot of that goes out the window because he's responsible for a lot of it. So I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
Sharkansas says, not going to lie, this roster feels like a 2015 Kentucky-esque squad.
That's bold. The 2015 as in like the Devin Booker cat. Is that the year I'm talking about?
Guess so.
That's a bold one, Sharkansas, but hey, I'm signing up for it. Sure.
Listen, I hope so. I hope so, man. And we'll see. Hell, we'll have a better idea after this pro day of what draft stock looks like and everything like that for these guys.
It's a lot less dependent on freshmen, which, I don't think is a bad thing by any means. But I think that's, I'll take that.
I like it. Anything else you want to get off your chest? You ready to get out of here?
Yeah, I'm ready to get out of here. I promised you, I swore to you, Curtis, that I would not have this be over an hour, and I think we're going to make it work. We're going to be under an hour. We are. For a minute there, I legitimately thought, wow, we actually say half hour sometimes, and we're going to be able to do that. Once the comments started rolling in, it's like, nah, man. Once we started talking real ball, we were talking festivities early, and, once we started talking ball, we just, we riff a little bit.
Exactly. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you for hopping in here and doing this with me, man. It's good stuff. A lot of fun, and appreciate everybody for rocking with us this whole day. It's been a busy one, and we don't run from the grind around here. There's going to be plenty to talk about here moving forward. Make sure you tap in for that pro day on Sunday. I thought about like a watch party situation, but I want to actually listen and watch and hear what they're saying and watch everything. That's too much going on at once here, but I will definitely have some reaction to that. So be on the lookout for it. And hell, like we say it all the time, but if you guys haven't done it by now, I don't know what you're waiting on. Subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel and turn on those notifications, because stuff happens all the time and we go live right away and react to it. And just like we react to super chats when they come through.
Phil bullied Finch into doing this. He was like, "Hey, someone quick, super chat."
Yeah. Phil gets the assist here. Finch, we appreciate you, man. We really do. A constant in the chat, and good people over there. Says, thank you for the hard work today. Thanks again, fellas. Love you guys. And again, we love you guys too, man. It's good stuff. We appreciate it. But we are going to get out of here. Everybody enjoy your weekend. If anything cool happens, we'll be live to talk about it. But for Andrew Ellis, been Curtis Wilkerson with the Palace Inside Arkansas. You guys have a good weekend, man. We'll see you next time.